baseball fans. Welcome to Dream Baseball Tours, where we plan, organize, and execute unforgettable baseball experiences. My name is Doug, and man, it has been a while since I've talked to you guys, and I've been up to a lot this summer, a lot of really cool things, and a lot of great things that I'd love to talk about today. But it is the All-Star Game today, and I have a video just about some trivia and some information about All-Star games. So the All-Star Game is actually going on right now. It's in the bottom of the first inning. I thought I would pause it to come talk to you guys, and hopefully you'll know some of these trivia questions. So I'm going to go through some of the trivia questions first, let you guys think about it and see if you know the answers, and then I'll go back and talk about it, and hopefully it'll be a little bit of fun. So first question, where was the first MLB All-Star Game held? So the first MLB All-Star Game, where was it held? And I'll give you a clue, it was back in 1933. Okay, second question, which Major League Baseball team has never hosted an All-Star Game? So which team has never had the privilege of having the All-Star Game at its park? Okay, third question, which city has hosted the Major League Baseball All-Star Game the most times? So which city has hosted the most times of anyone? And then which active Major League Baseball ballpark has hosted the most times? Which active park has hosted the most times? And then finally, maybe this is more of a discussion, but which ballparks are most likely to host in the future? So back to the first question. So it was which city or which ballpark hosted for the very first All-Star Game back in 1933, and it was Comiskey Park in Chicago. So fun fact about that, the Negro League's All-Star Game, called the East-West Game, was also held at Comiskey Park, also in 1933. It was in September towards the end of the season, whereas the Major League Baseball holds theirs kind of in the middle of the season, but both of them at Comiskey. And then the Major League Baseball started to alternate cities and especially go American League, National League, American League, National League for the most part. And the Negro League, they did almost all of their All-Star games or their East-West games at Comiskey Park. So fun little fact there. Okay, on to the next one. Which team has never had the privilege of hosting an All-Star game? Yep, that's the Tampa Bay Rays. And they aren't going to have one in the future either unless they get a new ballpark. So there's been some news recently about them trying to get a new park, them also splitting time and having a park up in Montreal. And Montreal's actually hosted before, but not in St. Petersburg, not the Tampa Bay Rays. So we'll see if they can get a park down in Florida in the future. And once they do, I'm sure that baseball would love to have it down in Florida there. But as of right now, they're the only team to never host. Okay. I never asked this question. This one was in my repertoire. Which current Major League Baseball stadiums have never hosted an All-Star Game? So the teams have, but maybe there's been a new park. So Tropicana Field, obviously, we just talked about the Rays never having been one. Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia has never hosted a Major League Baseball game. It is on the books, though, for 2026. It was just announced in April that they are going to host the 2026 All-Star Game. And the reason why they're hosting that one is it's the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Independence, Declaration of Independence. And they wanted to do it in Philadelphia there. So 2026, you guys have the All-Star Game coming to you. Other stadiums, the Yankee Stadium, New Yankee Stadium has never hosted one, and also SunTrust Park has never hosted one. SunTrust Park in Atlanta has the 2021 All-Star Game, so they will get their chance, and that was just announced, I think, May 29th, late May, that they're getting the All-Star Game. They're a brand new park, so Turner Field had it before, but they just never did. So there's 4 current parks that have never hosted. So which city has hosted the most times? If you guessed Cleveland, because you knew that they've hosted 6 times, you would be wrong. If you got Chicago because you knew they hosted 7 times, you also would be wrong. It is New York at 9 times. 9 times New York has had the All-Star Game. Let's see, once at the Polo Grounds, once at Ebbets Field, once at Shea Stadium, 4 times at Old Yankee Stadium, and 1 time at Citi Field. So like I just said, new Yankee Stadium has not hosted it, but New York's had the privilege of having the All-Star Game there 9 times. Okay, which active Major League Baseball park has hosted the most times? This is a 4-way tie with 3. So Wrigley Field, Fenway Park, Angel Stadium in Anaheim, and Kauffman Stadium have all had the privilege of having the All-Star Game at their park 3 times. Now, the longest stretch for any of those teams since the last time is Wrigley Field. So back in 1990 is the last time that they had it. So it will be 30 years next year that they haven't had it. So sneak preview, when we talk about places that could have it soon, Wrigley Field's probably near the top of that list. Okay, I guess one little tidbit of information there. There were 2 stadiums that have hosted it 4 times. Like I just said, Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium, has had it 4 times before. It got replaced with new Yankee Stadium, and Cleveland Stadium had it 4 times too. So they are no longer in an active park. So if you answered it with either of those, that's why you were not correct. Okay, so which ballparks could host in the future? And like I said, 2021 is going to be in Atlanta at SunTrust Field or SunTrust Park. You have 2026 in Philadelphia for the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Next year, 2020, has been announced. That's going to be in LA at Dodger Stadium, and it was 40 years, or it will be 40 years for them since they hosted. So it was a long time coming for them. Now, there are no other parks that are announced at this time, or All-Star Game venues at this time. They just announced 2 this year, so I would assume that they'll try to announce a couple more in the next year or so. Here are some places that could be up for hosting the All-Star Game. Teams that haven't hosted it in a while are always a good candidate, I would say. So Dodger Stadium, it'll be 40 years next year. Oakland Coliseum, it's been 32 years. They're not getting it. They're going to get a new park. They're hoping that it will begin construction soon and it will be open in 2023. So maybe you can see whatever park that's called in Oakland, maybe hosting it around 2025 to 2027 or 28. But they're not going to have one until they get a new park. Wrigley Field, like I said, is going to be 30 years. They definitely could have one soon. Rogers Center in Toronto, 28 years. Camden Yards, 26 years. Coors Field has been 21 years. Those are all the fields that haven't hosted it for 20 years. There is a slew of fields that are like between 17 and 19 or 16 and 19. Fenway Park, Miller Park, things like that, that in the next 5 years they'll be in that same ballpark or same boat as like Coors Field where it's been over 20 years. Some new stadiums. We talked about SunTrust Park. Globe Life Field in Arlington is set to open next year. So I would anticipate they will host one in the next 5 years or so. Major League Baseball likes a park to be open for a year or 2 to see if everything is going smoothly, and then they'll invite everyone down there. So I would anticipate they'll get one in the next 5 years. Like I said, Oakland, they've got one coming in the future. And then will the Rays ever get one? If they ever get their park straightened out, or if they move to Montreal or split time with Montreal, which doesn't sound like that's going to happen, but it could. They also, Montreal could host again. And then never hosted parks. So Yankee Stadium, they definitely could get one here in the near future. It would be surprising if they didn't get one sometime in the next decade, just because baseball likes to go to every park. So I am not a man of a lot of predictions, but I am going to put my money where my mouth is. That's the right saying. Anyway, I'm going to predict where I think the next All-Star Games are going to be for the next 10 years or so. So Dodger Stadium in 2020, SunTrust Park in 2021. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Yankee Stadium is going to get it in 2022. and then Globe Life Park in 2023. I think Wrigley Field is up in 2024. And then I had a tough time thinking about 2025. I'm going to say Camden Yards. It's been a while since they've had one. And then Citizens Bank Park in 2026. In 2027, I think we'll have a good feel for Oakland's new stadium, and they might host one. Coors Field in 2028. How about Fenway Park in 2029? That will be the 100th anniversary of Major League Baseball's All-Star Game. So maybe Fenway Park can get it then. And then, hey, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say the Rays will have their stadium figured out by 2030, and they're going to start the next decade with the All-Star Game. So there you go. There's some bold predictions, not so bold predictions, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so if you haven't watched anything from this year's All-Star break, from the Futures game to that, it went extra innings, and there was a home run in the 7th inning, which allowed it to go into extra innings. That was an exciting game. The home run derby, quite possibly one of the most exciting home run derbies. Vlad Guerrero and Jock Peterson put on an absolute show in the semifinals. And if you didn't hear about it, I don't know where you've been, sleeping under a rock maybe as far as baseball is concerned. Go back and watch it. It is worth, you can even just fast forward to what they're doing, but Vlad Guerrero put on a show the entire home run derby. Now, spoiler alert, if you don't want to know who won, pause the next like 10 or 15 seconds, but crazy that Vlad didn't even win. Pete Alonso took the home run derby, kind of like Josh Hamilton. I would have said that was one of the most exciting home run derbies that I saw when he was in the home run derby, back in maybe 2011 at Yankee Stadium, last time the Yankees hosted it, when he hit 28 in the first round. Well, Vlad Guerrero smashed that record. Anyway, really exciting. It's just been an exciting time. So if you're a baseball fan, this is a fun time. And right after this is when we start seeing the hot stove heat up, where if your team is in it, you're going to start to talk about trades, and you can look at the rumors every single day and see how your club is going to make their team better. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I will have some more videos here shortly for you. Like I said, I've been having a lot of fun this summer, going to some different games, and I can't wait to show you some of the videos from those games and maybe some tips and tricks on what to do when you're going to visit a park. So, okay, if this is the first time that you have been watching us, make sure that you like our page and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever place that you are watching this or that you've heard from us. Stay in touch with us. Hopefully you'll see some good tips, some good videos, be entertained a little bit, and then you'll find out when we're going to have some of our trips next year. Like I said, 2020, we are at Dodger Stadium for the All-Star Game, and Dream Baseball Tours is going to be there. All right, that's it for today. Talk to you later. Bye.